But I got something today that I wanted to share or talk about. So yesterday when I was on, I was like in my feels. Still am. Well, I'm not really in my feels right now. I'm of the I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. Fuck you. I am moving on with my life. So, that's what I've been doing. So I'm actually engaging with all of my Georgia poll folks on Blue Sky with the account I'm not giving anybody unless you're already familiar with it. I posted something over there because the email that I got just randomly today, and it's really funny because yesterday I actively, before I went to bed, I remember telling myself when I went to bed, I'm like, Lauren, watch. I was like, I bet tomorrow some shit is gonna pop off and you're gonna die laughing and you're just gonna say, yesterday was just a whole fucking hot mess of emotions, and then you'll be fine. Right? I don't like this. I'm gonna fix the screen again, you guys. I'm so sorry. We're doing auto. Yes. We're doing close. I don't know why it's filling the screen, but is it really fucking? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. I kind of put into the ether. I don't know, or maybe into the call. I don't know what the fuck to call it anymore. I am a very superstitious person, but not this bad. So I had an investigation start up on individuals within the state of Georgia, along with my former school district. I've not kept that quiet because it's public information. How is it public information, Lauren? How is it not protected under PII, PHI, all the things? Well, in order for that to be established, CISA, the governing body for all things data, would have had to do their job, but they hung up on me twice. Anyway, and then there is the DOJ field office, the FBI field office in Atlanta, who both said go forth and fuck people up. Okay. The DOJ office, the DOJ field office, and the FBI field office in Atlanta told me to go forth and sue or launch an investigation into CISA and DHS and why they hung up when I told them about this lovely school safety bill that profiles children without parental consent. It's that simple. Literally. I went back and I listened to the voicemails, or I listened to the phone calls. Yes, I recorded it. The government is not the only one that has the ability and capability of recording phone calls. It is 100% legal. Well, for Georgia, I don't know about some states. Y'all weird, but as it pertains to Georgia, they can't say shit. So I recorded the phone calls. And there were definitely two areas every time I hit, CISA would hang up. I'm like, when I went back and listened, I was like dying laughing. I'm like, holy shit, I was laughing because I was like, did you just hang up? Did CISA just hang up on me? What the fuck? Yeah. That's the person, alright. So for the non-data, non-cybersecurity, non-IT, non-technology people out there, CISA is the CISA is the government or the federal agency charged with all things data, like all things personal data, all things data breaches, all things OHI, FERPA, PII, PHI, you name it, they are charged with managing all the security breaches. So imagine my shock, knowing that the very same agency that I've spoken to in the past hung up on me. But they hung up on me whenever I got to the part where somebody in my district, whose name I'm not going to say, was involved and had been handpicked to be on the school safety panel at the federal level by the Biden administration. They hung up twice. At first I thought it was done on accident. I was like, okay, maybe they just like maybe it dropped. It dropped. Because when I was listening to the second call, they definitely got really, really sketchy and said, ma'am, you need to call the FBI to report this matter. I was like, so you want me to call the FBI on you being CISA, the governing body for all things data? You want me to call the FBI to investigate you? Okay, so just the mind-boggling what the fuckism of me even having access to these federal agencies. And everybody knows that I am not a fan of government overreach. I am not a fan of federal agencies. I fucking hate them. They're all useless. Case in point, CISA, DHS. There's a lot of other levels of bureaucracy I could go through, but I'm not trying to give you guys a fucking civics course. And by the way, if you don't know all the branches of the fucking government, then you need to go do some civics shit. I'm sorry. I'm now to the point that I literally asked Grok on Twitter. Yes, I said this on Twitter. Because on Twitter, you can, hold on, I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna flip this. We gonna flip that bitch. Cool. That's better. Okay, you can kind of see me a lot better. Anyway, I asked Grok a really simple question because the Oompa Loompa said something along the lines of, he was attacking the media outlets and said that they needed to and should be shut down and investigated for their favoritism over left wing or the left democratic whatever the fuckism he wants to call it. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. And so I was like, hey Grok, didn't at Grok, can you elaborate on what 1984 was about as it pertained to he who controls the media? Grok deadass said the very damn thing I knew it was going to say because I'm a fucking history nerd and I've read that book so fucking much. I was like, yo, your AI shit's even out here saying the thing that I've always known to be true. So people can't be in their fucking feelings and saying that, like, I'm making shit up about George Orwell 1984 because that's... The summary that came back was, and I'm going to be honest, that was the first time I've used AI. I haven't used AI. I'm like, there's some weird bone in my body that just refuses to accept it. So that was like the first time. And it was funniest. It was a funniest fuck video in our response. Anyway, because it was spot on. So, I'm sorry. But that's just like an example of why I find it hilarious that I'm even involved with these branches of government that I don't want to fuck with. All these federal agencies that report. I don't want to be involved with this shit. I don't fucking trust the government. I never have, never will. And I don't give two fucks what people say. You can get in your feelings about it because, quite honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was raised in the 90s. And maybe it's because we literally had I was an 80s baby, but also in the 90s. But like, we literally had a commercial that like said, it's 10 p.m. and do you know where your children are? So, my childhood, leading into adulthood, whatever. Actually, I'm going to say my childhood leading into my teenage years. There's a lot of government overreach. A lot. I remember when DARE started, which was the precursor to the war on drugs. Actually, that was the initiative that spun out of the war on drugs under the guise of things that had been brought into the country via the United. And I can just go Google Oliver North. Just do that. Go Google Oliver North. Anyway, so I was around for DARE. I was around for, the Red Dog Unit. I was around for everything. And I got to see a lot of bullshit. I've known nothing but corruption. I've known nothing other than politicians lining their pockets and doing insider trading as the country is going into a fucking recession. Which, let's get this straight. I am 46. I have now gone through 3 recessions. 3. Alright? The second one being, I'm calling what's happening now a recession because, trust me, it's bad. People don't want to say it, but it's real fucking bad. When your coffee, I'm not talking about Starbucks either. I'm not talking about going to Starbucks. Shit, it's cheaper to go to Starbucks. But when your coffee just when your coffee goes from like $5.99 to $10.99 in the span of like, I don't know, 2 years? Yeah. No. Yeah. I remember seeing the sticker price and having sticker shock when I first saw how much it cost. And then my husband got coffee for us the other day. He's like, do you know how much this shit costs? I was like, what? He's like, it's normally this price and it was $10.99. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not even drinking expensive coffee. It's like the whole. Anyway, I'm just saying that I've lived through 3 recessions, one being now. The second recession, which was the housing crisis that absolutely fucking everybody in my family predicted, and my mom was like screaming from the rooftops, as was I, that like shit was about to fall out. Now, here's the thing: everybody wants to blame that shit on Bush. It was not Bush that did that. That man catches hell. I mean, yeah, he went and he finished up some shit for his daddy. And, 9/11 happened on his watch. But that man catches hell for everything. He catches hell for shit he wasn't even in office for. Because he didn't do it. It wasn't him. I'm like, I'm 46. I fucking hated that man until somewhere around the age of 43. When I realized, oh shit, the reason that he can't spell and that he makes mistakes when he's reading publicly is because he's dyslexic. And also, that's why the National Reading Panel began, because of his mother and him. And Reed Lyon was also involved in that. Okay, moving on. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the housing crisis that happened in 2009. Under the guise of Obama was out here saying, I inherited this from the Bush administration. No, you fucking did not. You inherited it from the Clintons because the predatory loans began under the Clinton administration. Now, while the Clintons were the first and only motherfuckers that in my lifetime that had a balanced budget for the country, they stayed out here doing some really fucked up things. And there's like what I'm absolutely having fun with right now is that everybody who knows that the Clintons were responsible for a lot of things, like, are no longer keeping that quiet. We're all out here going, nah, you you're pointing the finger at the wrong person. Wait, that was not Bush, that was Clinton. And then the whole privatization of prison, that was the Clintons. That was not Bush. And the fuck shit is, or the fucked up thing is, alright, optics. If I'm looking at this from the optic of team batshit crazy, or team we're pedophiles and we're cool with pedophiles because we don't want to fucking, like, you know, hold the king pedophile that's actually been convicted of doing some shit. We don't want to hold him accountable. We don't, you know. Anyway, so the whole reason that the Uncle Oompa had such a fucking cult following was under the guise of finally somebody was going to come in who wasn't a part of the establishment, who wasn't a part of the swamp, blah, 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 blah. Right? That was the appeal the first time. And I think, you know, it's taken me a long time to kind of like reconcile with that, but I know at my core it's true. I live in rural Georgia. Nobody gives a fuck about us in rural Georgia, especially Democrats. But again, I maintain I am not a registered anything. Never will be. So, let me get back to it. Anyway, I'm just saying, go out there and do your fucking, take a civics class and go understand the landscape of who did what when, and stop blaming the wrong people for it, and then stop pointing the finger at everybody else other than your fucking self because you took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. Because you were too lazy to go fucking do your own independent analysis of the whole thing. I don't understand. That's a whole different plot. Anyway, so back to my original statement. So within that second recession, my mom literally said, Lauren, if you're gonna buy a house, do it now. Because the market is about to fall out. You can get a house right now, no down payment. You can lock in your loan, because you know not to go into the predatory loans. Just get it done now. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? She's like, no, I'm not kidding you. Get your house right now. I was like, okay. So we did. We bought our house. And within like, I want to say 6 months of that, not even 6 months, actually 3 months. I remember that. 3 months. Yeah. The fucking market fell out. And with that, my mom actually lost her job because, you know, my mom was kind of like me. We're like really good at what we do, but for what we do, we're highly paid. And when people get laid off, historically speaking, in our line of work, or her line, my line, whatever, like, they always come after the people with the larger salary. So there's that. I'm used to it. My mom is too. So, my mom suffered the repercussions of her own predatory fuck shit of an environment that she had worked in and has worked in my entire fucking life. I'm not gonna get into that. I went through that. We literally put our house on the market because I was of the mind frame still back then, which I am still today. I didn't want to allow my house to be foreclosed. My husband lost his job. I was the one making money, but because the field that I was in was not harmed by the recession, because if you're in IT, especially what I was doing at the time, you were needed more than any other field at that time. But we got to a point where I was like, okay, we can stay here and continue to live, like, literally check to check, penny to penny. I mean, mind you, this was at a time during the recession, unemployment wages in the state of Georgia were $500 a week, if not higher. I think it may have been higher. I can't remember, but I just know that my husband got an obscene amount of money every week. And I say that with knowing the irony that, you know, it's now 2025, and if somebody were to pitch that amount of money to me a week, I would be like, have you lost your fucking mind? No. But here's the thing. Meaning, like, I would be like, why are we paying so much out to unemployment? Right? The highest that you can get in the state of Georgia right now is $356 fucking dollars, and that's the cap amount. That's the highest amount you can get. So yeah, there's that. We moved, or we put our house up for rent. Our house that we absolutely poured everything into. We redid the entire house. We brought it back to life. We kept all the cute 1950s everything. We rehabbed, like, it was like a labor of love. We loved it. And we lived in the city. And it was a very hard decision to make, but it was one we had to make, because it was either do that or have our house foreclosed on. And when my parents built their dream home, they built their dream home for either my sister or I to come live in it in the event we needed a place to stay. That's why they built their big ass house. We have a whole wing, and I've said this before, we have a whole wing of the house to ourselves. My bedroom, my husband and I's room, is like the size of a fucking one-bedroom apartment. It's gigantic. But I'm grateful. I'm never going to bite the hand that feeds on that one. Kind of rambling and all over the place. I'm segueing into this. Alright, so I filed with the feds. Like I said, I gave my district and individuals at the state level, politicians at this, I gave them a really wide berth. And I was like, why the fuck are you doubling down and acting as if I won't do this? Because I'm the one known for pulling stunts. So what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doubling down with me? They still did it. These dumb motherfuckers thought I was joking. They thought I was not going to do what I did. I did what I did because that was my middle finger to say, fuck you. Don't ever call my bluff. Every time you've ever called my bluff, I've said fuck you, and I've gone and done some shit. This time I happened to go report it to the fucking feds. Why? Well, because things like HIPAA, OHI, PHI, PII, FERPA, everything, including, so that means social security numbers, medical records, IEPs, 504s, let's see here, birth certificates, like vaccination records, this is very personal, delicate information, right? Data privacy is my thing. And it's not because I've never worked in a data privacy. I know that. It'll fix. Anyway, data privacy was not my original thing. But this is what is. What in the hell? Oh shoot, stop. I don't know what's going on, huh? No. It should clear out here in a second. Anyway, cybersecurity is my thing. Data privacy is something that I literally was able to wrap my brain around within, like, so all of this shit started with HB 268. So when it was first introduced in February, I wrapped my head around it within like 2 weeks. Like, I went down the fucking wormhole, came out, and was like, bet, got it. And it was exactly what I assumed. I was like, oh, okay, so we're really out here doing this. So Georgia thinks it's a really good time to fuck around and find out with data. So I'd already caught Kemp doing some stupid shit 2024 when he signed legislation that made data sharing legal in the state of Georgia. Because agencies had been sharing information with each other in the state of Georgia illegally. And so, via an executive order in September of 2024, Brian Kemp signed into law something called GDAC. What I will say about GDAC is it is now morphing into something other than what it was. Because now GDAC is hosting GOSA data, which means all the academic data. GDAC is also hosting, hospital information, bed stay, turnover, all of that is also on the same platform. It's all under the guise of being legal, right? Because the governor, with a stroke of his pen, thinks he made it legal. Unfortunately for Brian, that would be our governor. I call him Brian. Everybody here calls him Brian. Unfortunately for Kemp, he neglected to think about something extremely fucking basic. He can sign that pen all he wants. He can sign that fucking executive order. So what it came down to was I started piecing shit. So alright. Everybody in Georgia knows that like Brian ran on some or Kemp was like, oh, we're redoing tort reform, we're gonna stop small businesses from being put on. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then it dawned on me, oh, you motherfucker, you're doing that so nobody can whip back around and sue y'all for the data sharing shit you've been doing. Because it turned out the number one fucking predatory vendor out here that's been doing this, sending shit to outside agencies, is a small company from Commerce, Georgia. That Georgia, the state of Georgia, during the General Assembly, codified under OCGA to be the one and only student information sharing hosting vendor. So there's that. And I have receipts on when that started and how it started and who was an early adopter and whatnot. Yes, I also know who it maps back to. I know who Brock Wilson is friends with. I know how he got these things done. I know that he had an assist and was able to essentially run, I think it was called ERP. I can't remember. It was the first student information sharing system that was rolled out here in Alabama and Georgia. I've mapped it Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and so far, and Tennessee. Alright, so, and this cluster of like southern states. Right, so K-12, Brock Wilson somehow managed to get enough money as a small business owner to buy that company out. I knew that had happened because I remember in DeKalb County, I remember we had one system and then all of a sudden it flipped over to Infinite Campus, which is owned by K-12 Solutions Group. I was like, that's kind of weird. But nonetheless, it happened. So OCGA adopted that. Brian Kemp, John Burns, all these dumbasses that were out here pro HB 268, pro data sharing, pro whatever the fuck. But Chris Carr, and I cannot say this enough, Chris Carr created his own goddamn immunity clause in that bill because he knew how fucking illegal it was. The FBI, the DOJ field office, I swear to God, I'm going to upload the fucking conversation between myself and the field office in Atlanta. Just so people can hear them laughing at Chris Carr. And no, it was the DOJ field office laughing at Chris Carr. and then telling me you need to call the FBI field office. And then, by the way, here's Chris Carr's number. Have you talked to him? I'm like, why the fuck would I want to talk to Chris Carr? He has an immunity clause he created for himself because he knows it's that fucking illegal. And the agent on the phone was laughing. She's a fucking attorney for the DOJ, and she was laughing her ass off at me because she was like, oh, I was like, I'm sorry, are you laughing? She's like, I'm sorry, I am laughing because the irony is just thick. Like you said, the irony. He 100% knows how illegal it is. And you're right about the immunity clause. Typically when we see an immunity clause and it involves higher ups in, the government, that means there's some stuff going on that should not be going on. But they think that they're going to be immune because they signed it into law. I was like, okay, so you guys know this, and you're now telling me that you are laughing with me and because I'm making fun of the fact that Chris Carr did this, and then you're telling me to go call the FBI field office and start up another investigation to go after that. She said, yeah. Okay. Anywho's, so my complaint that I lodged with the feds, or started with the feds, after I gave everybody in the state of Georgia and my school district, former district, a wide berth. Very wide berth. I notified them on April 2nd. And then I met with somebody within the district on April 4th on camera, virtually, filmed it. Yeah, I gave them the entire month of April, pretty much, I would say. I was very generous with that, by the way. And I know that once I got to the point where they stopped listening to me, I got really fucking mad. And I was like, alright, fine, fuck you. And it's not that I haven't tried, because I tried. I did everything I could. Every avenue that I'm allowed to use as a constituent, parent, whatever. So, that investigation has been going on since the end of April. Or maybe the mid-April. I don't know. I can't really remember. I just know it's been going on for a while. And it definitely involved other agencies. But today, so after the abysmal bullshit day I had yesterday, where I'm like in my feels and I'm like, fuck everyone. You have sat back and watched this and you haven't given a shit about it. Not once. You don't care. You're just watching it as if it's fun to watch. I'm actually still in that mind frame. Those people can still fuck off. I'm not going to take back what I said about those people. Yes, I need names. I don't give a fuck. And this is the best part. I fucking dare one of the individuals or one of the groups that I named to say a fucking word to me, because you motherfuckers know I have it in email. And I will drop those fucking receipts, and you know it. I don't give a fuck if you're an attorney. You know this. I'm the one attorney, you bitch. Okay, so, anyway, moving on. Today I get an email from the very agency that literally latched on to they latched onto the complaint without me even fucking trying. All I did was put them in the email when I filed with the state. And then immediately, instead of the state expediting anything to stop this fuckery, the goddamn federal agencies that I just threw in the email, I was like, hey, heads up. And not that I was expecting a fucking reply, because I was not. Oh my god. Those individuals, the federal agencies that I tossed in there for shits and giggles just to fuck with people, well, they ended up taking me up on that and they started investigating. And so today I got an email letting me know that they've gone through my 30-page complaint. Yes, 30 pages worth of a complaint. That doesn't even include the fucking exhibits I included. That's just the complaint. 30 fucking pages of a timeline going all the way back to 20, in my case, I kept it on me and mine. So going all the way back to 2014. Very detailed timeline. Receipts, everything. They notified me that they had investigated it and it did not fall within the purview of that agency due to like a stipulation. Alright. I reported this to the Government Accountability Office, the GAO. They are tasked with all federal monies and investigating those that take federal monies. They took it. The US DOE called me almost immediately because of the GAO telling them you need to call this woman. And so they called me. And I was like, I've never had anybody from Washington actually give a fuck. What do you want? And then the email today solidified that, well, I mean, I already knew. I knew that the GAO was going to go through looking for fraud. This is what the GAO, they're there for fraud, waste, and abuse. The irony, that's what I worked in prior to being laid off while on FMLA with no evidence of why. Sorry. But yeah, that's what I did prior. So yeah, I'm really good with data because that's literally what I fucking did for a living. Anyway, moving on. So they told me that they were not able to nail this particular issue down to fraud, waste, and abuse. However, they referred it to the U.S. Department of Education and Office of the OIG. Now, I have been out here saying, if you don't stop making me mad, I'm going to go pull a stunt. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to get another federal agency on your ass. I've been saying that. I've been fucking loud and I've been public with it. I'm not trying to be sketchy or sneaky. I was just saying, I was dead ass saying, look, I'm done fucking with y'all. I will take this. So it's kind of like the mind frame of me whenever I'm fighting in a school district or a school. I'll go straight to the top of the goddamn school district and I'll keep it there. I won't deal with anybody in the middle. I want to go straight to the top. Do it all the fucking time. That's what I tell parents to do all the time. Go find the person that has the blank checkbook. So that's what I did this time. Except this time I didn't trust it in the hands of the state, meaning Chris Carr, who, I mean, the fucking irony, this is within his, like, I mean, he's literally charged with doing this, but he didn't fucking do it. He just puts an immunity clause in the bill. So, yeah, the complaint has now been referred up to the DOE, who, again, they wanted me to file a complaint with them. Remember, they're the ones that called me. And I still have that phone call on my phone. I can prove the date and the time that they called me. I did not solicit the U.S. DOE. They called me. So today I was informed that my 30-page complaint, that is a very broad sweeping complaint at the state level as well as at the district level. Yeah, it got referred out and they're investigating. And that I was also instructed to contact both agencies to give them more insight and more data. So, a lot of people are going to see the email screenshot. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. And you're going to think, meh. Well, it's kind of like they're passing the buck. Like, okay, I've already worked with the GAO before, and this is something I know to be true. With the GAO, what they're not going to do is not investigate. These motherfuckers, they jumped on top of it. There is no other federal agency out there that's gonna fucking jump on top of something as quick as them. So if you're ever in a bind and you want to fuck somebody up, I'll give you the fucking email address. So I am. What are they doing out here? Oh, they're pointing your driveway. Okay. I am now in a weird spot because the DOE did ask me to file a complaint, and I said no. Well, I was like, well, let me see what happens. Attorneys are involved now. I got chastised by my attorney the other day because I was maybe a low-key asshole in my email. But I did say sorry to him, not them. I said sorry to him. And I was like, I won't do it again. And I did say, well, what do you want me to do about these agencies? Because they called me on Thursday and they want to interview me and they want more data. I don't know what karma is doing. I don't know what the universe is doing. But I said, well, would you please do me a favor and relay to the district that I have these two agencies requesting me to file or to interview with them and to give them more data on my existing complaint that was filed back in April. I said that to my fucking lawyer. I was like, yeah, run this by them. See what they say. Because he said, he's like, I will say whatever you want me to say verbatim. Meaning I will cuss all the shit. Okay, cool. He doesn't know about that. Well, he does know, but I sent him the email. I was like, okay, so let me just put this into the easiest way possible for you. I'm not gonna give y'all my attorney's name. Wait. This means the GAO found enough information that was worthy of being investigated by not one but two other federal agencies. And now I'm being instructed to contact the agencies. I'm being instructed to contact the agencies to give them more data. So, I'm in a weird spot, you guys. Because every bone in my body wants to jump on it and do it. But I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what to do. I can use this as a bargaining chip. I can say, do you want me to feed you to the fucking wolves? Do you want me to just go ahead and say, fine, fuck it, here you go? Carte blanche, like, just everything? Is that what I need to do? Or, hear me out. Do I just need to act like it didn't happen? Like, is that what I'm guessing they want me to just act like it didn't happen or some shit, and I can't. I physically can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not capable of acting like that shit didn't happen. That's not who I am. Remember, I keep getting into all these fucked up situations because I see something, or if I see it, I say something. But I'm a little extra when I say something. I go for the jugular, and I make sure everybody fucking knows. I make sure everybody acts accordingly. Because I'm an asshole. I'm not that big of an asshole, though. I don't know if I'm my son will just have to get over it, and he'll just have to come. I just have to walk his little beacon back here. Y'all, the reason I'm zigzagging is because of this parking lot. It's just insane. Okay. I love a cute car. Okay. We have a nice little shaded area. Alright, so this is a shit line. My car literally could have just like climbed forward through a fence because it didn't even park. I didn't go in the park. I just didn't mind. Emergency brake. Anyway, at least we know that works. So I'm just gonna wrap it up with this. I'm in a weird bind right now. I'm in a spot. I'm in a better headspace than I was yesterday. Much better headspace. But actually, truth be told, I was in a better headspace as soon as I turned that off. So as soon as I said everything I needed to say out loud, that's fine. I was in a good mood, and I'm still in a good mood. So that just kind of lets everybody know that I'm not of the mind frame of giving a fuck about feelings right now. Not that I've ever been known for doing that. I do care about people and humans. I just don't give a fuck about their feelings sometimes. They don't warrant that level of attention. So now I'm waiting for my attorney to tell me what to do. And if I don't find out from my attorney within like the next 24 hours, I will likely just go ahead and put it out to the ether and I'll file my complaint with more people. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll end up filing my complaint with everybody. I just, like I said, want to put this into context one last time. I'm covered in tattoos. Everything I've done in my life has been to say fuck you to the societal norms out there. It has been a big middle finger to the government. I'm not going to say anarchist, because I'm not. I'm not an anarchist. I'm just very fucking vocal. And if I think that somebody is overreaching and fucking with my family or people I care about, I am going to get involved. And it won't be pretty. And I don't apologize for that. So, there's that. That's where I'm at today. It's, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't make this shit up. I wish I could. It's just another day in life for me. That's what it is. But I guess we'll see what happens.